ReLU is one of the popular activation technique used within deep learning to find out non-linear relationship within your data. And in this video, we will see how ReLU supports the non-linearity. Okay, so let's start. First, I will be importing all the required packages for building neural network. And for that purpose, I will be using TensorFlow Keras. We'll simply run this cell. And next, I will generate some artificial data. For that purpose, I will be running the second cell. And this will generate 2000 samples. And it will have two features. Okay. And now we'll simply plot it. And from this diagram, you can see that it contains two different classes, each represented by different colors. And by looking into this data, we can clearly see that it has some non-linear pattern, right? And now we'll see how neural network will help us in finding out those sort of non-linear relationship within my data. Okay. So here I have defined a small function which contains all the logic required for building and training neural network. So it's a very small neural network which contains a single hidden layer, right? And it has one input layer and one output layer. So you can see that I have defined an input layer which will have dimension as input dimension. So if you look the data, we have 2000 rows and it contains two features. So that means my input dimension would be 2, right? So that's what it means. Next, I have defined a fully connected layer which will simply take data from my input layer and which I have defined within this square bracket. So once it will be computed, it will be passed to the activation layer. So that's what I have defined next. And in last, we have one output layer which will simply take the output from my activation layer and it will generate a prediction, right? So here I have defined one neuron and the activation for that layer has been defined as sigmoid, right? So once all the layers would be defined, we'll build a model graph. And here I am using model from TensorFlow Keras. I will be passing inputs and outputs. And whatever layers it will have between input and output, it will build a model graph. So that covers the model definition. And next, we'll take this model and we'll compile it with the help of model.compile. The loss which I am defining here is binary cross entropy because it's a binary classification problem. And the optimizer function which I will be using is ADAM. And in bracket, I have defined the learning rate for the ADAM optimizer. The matrix which I will be using is accuracy matrix. Right? So that's what I have done as a part of compiling the model graph. So once that is done, we'll simply perform a training activity. So for that purpose, I will be using model.fit and we'll be passing the input value which comes as a part of X variable, and we have defined all the output or target value as a part of Y, right? Here epochs defined will be how many number of epochs you will be running for your model training activities, right? And next I will be simply calculating the accuracy score for my data, right? And in last, I will be simply taking the trained model and will build a model decision boundary so that we would be able to understand what sort of decision boundary my model would be able to identify. Now we'll try to see how my model behaves depending upon what sort of activation function we pass to the neural network and what sort of decision boundaries my model would be able to identify. Okay, so we'll start with linear activation functions and then we'll go to the ReLU to understand how it is different from the linear activation function. Okay, so for that I will be running this cell and I will execute this statement. So here I am simply passing the hidden layer unit as 10. So number of units within my hidden layer would be 10 and the activation is linear and the number of epochs I'd be performing for my training operation would be 200. And here you can see that the model accuracy is 0.506 and the model decision boundary is simply a straight line. So this small neural network is not able to identify the non-linear pattern because my activation is simply a linear. Okay, and now we'll simply modify this activation function from my linear to ReLU, and then we'll see the impact. ReLU activation will look something like this. So if the value of the activation would be less than 0, it would be truncated to 0, right? So that's what you can see it here. And if the value of the activation is greater than 0, it will retain that value. So that's why you are seeing that it is going to infinity. So the value for the activation, ReLU activation, would vary between 0 to infinity. Right? And now we'll simply change the activation function value from linear to ReLU, and all the other parameters would remain same. And now we'll run this statement. So here you can see the impact of using ReLU activation function within your neural network. And here you can see that the accuracy for the model is 99.30, right? And if you look the model decision boundary carefully, you'll find out it is able to identify the non-linear pattern within my data, and it is able to classify both the classes very clearly, right? And if you look carefully what sort of model decision boundary it has identified, you'll find that it will have many small straight lines. So here you can see that it's one straight line. Next we have a small straight line. So it's a combination of different small straight lines which will form a very complex pattern, right? To classify your data. And from where model has picked up the straight line for creating this complex behavior. So this has been picked up by the activation layer, right? Because if you look in network architecture, in the network architecture we have 10 neurons within my hidden layer, and the activation which we have used as ReLU. So the 10 neurons within my hidden layer will create different decision boundary with the help of this ReLU activation layer, right? And all these 10 neurons will create different sort of straight lines, right? Depending upon what activation functions or what activation value that neuron will have. And model will take those decision boundaries produced by my different hidden layer, which will be in the form of straight line, and it will combine those straight lines to produce a very complex behavior. And that's what you can see it here, right? It's a combination of different small straight line, which is nothing but it's an output produced by my neuron. Now what I will do, I will train different neural network, but this time I will be passing different value for my hidden neuron, and then we'll try to analyze how the decision boundary will change based on your number of neurons within your hidden layer. Okay, so here I have defined the hidden units between 1 and 11, right? And it will produce different model accuracy, and it will produce different model boundary. So we'll simply run this cell, and after that we'll analyze the output. And from the output we can clearly see that how my model decision boundary changes with the change in number of hidden units. So in the first plot we can see that where we have used a single hidden units, my model has picked up only single straight line, right? But once we'll increase the number of hidden units from 1 to 2, you can see that it has picked up two small straight lines, right, for separating my data classes. And if you compare the accuracy of my model, it has gone up from 69.05 to 69.2. Slowly we'll increase the number of hidden units. So once we'll increase the hidden unit from 2 to 3, so you can see that the accuracy of my model has increased from 69.2 to 75.3. And this time my model has picked up different straight lines for separating the data classes. So slowly we'll increase the number of hidden units, and you will see that it will create more robust model decision boundary for separating data classes, and slowly the model accuracy will also increase. So once we'll have number of hidden units as 4, you can see that it has built a very complex decision boundary for separating two data classes, right? So we'll keep increasing the number of hidden units, and once it will reach value as 10, the accuracy of my model has gone up to 99.15, and it has built a very complex decision boundary for separating two data classes. So in this way, ReLU activation function will provide a non-linearity within your deep learning model, and it's used for wide variety of tasks. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope you'll find this video useful, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I request you to subscribe to it, and thanks for watching it.